Welcome back everyone to our gameplay series of X4 Foundations. And in today's video we're going to pick up where we left off last time. We're going to start out by taking a quick look at where things are. And as I scroll back out, let's see, there is our ship and he is busy putting out advanced satellites. Now he's already put out satellites in each of these areas prior to Pious Mist. Now he's headed over to Pontific's Claim, and he's going to do the same there. So he's nearing the end of his journey, and then once he gets done with that, let's actually make sure we've got him set up to come back. I can't remember if we do or not. Okay, so he's going to, no, he will actually not. Okay, so we're going to have him come back whenever he is done and dock here in Argon Prime with us. All right, so that will take care of that. Let's check in on our build and see how it's going. Of course, this is going to be our shipbuilding HQ, and we'll also be able to do some research here as well, which could come in handy in the future, particularly the teleportation. But for right now, we're still working on getting the resources needed for the basic dock area, and that's going to take a little bit of time, so no big rush there. But what we want to do in today's video is we want to set up an income stream. So we have 11,400,000 in credits, but that's going to go very quickly. So we're going to use a good portion of that to try to set up an income stream of miners. And then in the future, we'll get into some additional stations and so on. But for right now, the most important thing for us is to try to get some miners out and about. All right, so let's go ahead and do buy ships. And we're not gonna do any small ships for this. We're gonna do medium-sized ships, and we'll do the drill vanguard because we're gonna be focusing on one particular resource here up front. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up one of my presets that I called the solid miner, and we'll see what we get here. We're not gonna spend a ton of money on these, but I'm thinking Mark II is probably going to be a pretty good option on these. I want to give them as much shield as I can give them just in case. Of course, we don't have to worry about weapons on this. We'll just use the mining drill, and we're going to go with the cheaper option on the mining drill. Turrets, we don't have to really worry about, again, with this. Mining turrets there. Consumables, we don't really need any consumables. They can be helpful, but overall, I don't think we need any. We're going to go ahead and put a couple of Marines on board, and then the rest will be service crew. And that's going to get us up to 528,000 credits. Okay, let's go ahead and add those, and we will increase our number of those to, let's just go ahead and get 10. Let's get 10 of those, and we'll confirm that. So one of the things we're going to have to watch out for early on is the fact that now we'll come back out into the wharf so we can actually see all of our ships being built. We're going to have to pay close attention to the Argon Wharf and make sure it has the materials that it needs. So that means we're going to need at least 1 to 2 traders early on just for that specific purpose. But for right now, since we're very early in game, we still probably have an hour or so of gameplay before we have to seriously worry about them running low on resources. Maybe not quite that long with some of the other wharfs from the different factions, but in Argon, I think we're going to be okay for at least another hour or so in game. All right, so these miners, it looks like we're building 8 of these right now, and then we've got 2 more in the queue simply because we don't have any room to build them right now. There's only so much room on the floor, and it is currently all being used. Let's actually use this opportunity to, and there he comes right now. The Eclipse Vanguard, he is done. Let's actually make sure, yes, you can see all of these wonderful stations that we have found. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our first glimpse at just how many stations we have opened up. So 188 if we look over the entirety of what's been discovered so far. So not bad. It's a good start. We still have several hundred more probably to go, but it's a good start. So if we swap over to solid, you can see we've got a source of Nevidium, which is going to be crucial early on. We'll also be dealing quite a bit with silicon, and we'll probably not get into ore or ice very much until we have a need for it for our own stations. But for right now, we're going to focus mainly on Nevidium and silicon. All right, so let's come back out. Let's see, are all of these guys done? It looks like they are. And that brings to light one thing that I forgot to do at the very beginning, and that is change our name, change the symbol, and all of that. So let's go ahead and do that now. So we'll come under player information. Let's change the name. And instead of being Val, we'll just change this to Knee Gaming. Our logo, we'll need to change that as well. Get that taken care of. That looks much better on the ship than the default. And we'll change the theme to green. Of course, there are plenty of other paint schemes available in the game, but for right now, that should be perfectly fine. Let's go to the global standing orders. We want them to comply with the police whenever they want to search, and I don't need to be notified about that. Pirates, let's just try to escape from the pirates. And let's see. Yeah, go ahead and notify me of that. If we find an abandoned ship, then go ahead and claim. The pirate harassment is really the only one that is a big deal. Sometimes escape works, sometimes it doesn't. I generally don't have to worry too much about losing many ships to that, but you never know. So escape or comply. Generally what happens is if you choose comply, then they will simply drop their cargo, but the pirate vessels are not big enough to pick up all the cargo, so you're still going to have a big chunk of it left behind. So I'll tell you what, let's just start out with comply on that, and everything else I think looks good. All right, let's come back over to the map, and let's start setting up some of these guys on some auto mining. So let's go ahead, pull up information, and we want to go to, I don't want to really do the auto mine right now under the random mine. I want to do advanced auto mine. And these guys are going to work solely on Nevidium, and we'll give them the maximum gate distances to work with. That should be plenty fine for them. Okay, let this guy undock, and then we're going to go into the next ones, and we're going to continue this process. Okay, sector auto mine. Yeah, that's no fun at all. Let's see if we can do random mine on this one. Supplier, let's do, he's going to be a free miner. His home is actually going to be, let's see, I think I want him to be in second contact, I think. Yes, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and have him go to, okay, maybe, let's try again. All right, so obviously this isn't going to work the same way that I wanted it to. All right, we'll come back to that. So minimum, the mine gate distance, we're going to go ahead and set up max on that. And add wares, we're only going to add one. One is all we need. And so where do we want these guys to work with? Really, I guess really any of these are perfectly fine. Let's just go ahead and allow, no, let's do not allow all factions because that would do the scale plate and probably some of the other bad guys as we move through. Okay, so pretty simple to set this up. We'll see how it works and if we need to make any adjustments. But we want this guy to do some free mining. We'll let him undock and then we'll come back to him. And we'll get a check on all of these guys just to make sure they're doing what we want them to do. And then we can make any adjustments for there. All right, so what I'm trying to do right now is if we have advanced or expert auto mine, then I'm choosing those. Otherwise, I'm choosing the random mine for right now. These are going to be free miners, and we're going to give them maximum range to both gather as well as sell. And let's do Navidium. All right, everything looks good there. Once again, we'll confirm that. And we'll keep going. So it looks like we've got a lot of lower level pilots and skills. Of course, if we would have built some more expensive and some better ships, then we would have had a better opportunity to get higher skill, but that would have cost us quite a bit of money. And not terribly interested in spending any more money than we have to here early on. Okay, we'll try to get these guys. So we'll start off with as many Navidium as we're comfortable with. Probably around 6 to 8 of those will be Navidium. Then we'll get into the silicon, and we'll see how things go from there. All right, that looks, I think, pretty good. So by the time we get done actually setting up all of these, we'll be able to swing back around. There we go, advanced. We'll be able to swing back around and check on the original ones that we set off. All right, Navidium, max gate distance for jumps. All right, so far so good. Oh, expert auto mine. There we go. Finally, we get something working in our favor with the expert. Let's see, minimum gate distance, we'll leave it 0s, and then maximum 13 gates. Okay, that looks great. And we'll probably come back in a little bit later on, as soon as we're making sure that everybody is working properly. And we'll add a different naming convention for these guys, so we can tell them apart as our fleet continues to grow. Because in the future, we'll have some folks that will be dedicated to simply supplying our stations rather than free mining. Okay, so right now, let's see, 3, 4, everything looks good. All right, not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, so that gives us plenty of those. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, great. That is going to give us 8 for Navidium, and thankfully our demand will not run out on Navidium. That's thanks to our mods that we talked about at the very beginning, the trade station drain mod, that kind of thing. All right, so now we're going to actually come in and do advanced auto mine, and we're going to do a couple of silicon. There we go. Let's go ahead and change their name. Okay, make sure everything is where we want it. And then we'll come into, I believe this is our final one. And yeah, there we go, expert auto mine. Perfect. And we'll let this guy do silicon as well. Keep everything else the same, confirm that. And his name will become Silicon 2. Just to give us a way to separate. So now what I'm going to do is come in and let's take a look at what these guys are up to. So we're mining resources, we're mining Navidium, and actually they have made their way over to Hatikva's Choice 3. So we need to actually head over here and drop down an advanced satellite. So we'll do that here in just a moment. All right, we'll change this guy's name. We'll make him NV1. Okay, because he seems to be doing just fine. This guy's down in second contact, mining Navidium. Okay, great. So far so good with these guys. They're doing exactly what we want them to do. And it looks like we've got another miner coming in. Okay, let's see what we've got. Mine resources, Hatikva's Choice 3. There you can see this drill vanguard is just arriving in the sector. All right. So far so good. The biggest thing we're doing here is setting up an income stream. We haven't gotten into any traders yet. We don't have any stations that are up and going. Of course, we'll be building our own ships as well as building ships for other factions as time goes on. But that's going to take quite a bit of money, and we'll take our time about getting to that. We're also going to be making some other stations for some other goods that we're going to need long term. But again, all of this takes money, and we need to set up our income before we get too far along. Okay, again, everything is looking good here. These guys seem to be spreading out. A few come over to a Tikva's Choice 3, a few go over to Second Contact, and that is exactly what we want. We want them to spread out, and we will continue to explore because there are more places that we want to unlock. All right, so this guy will now become 4. Hopefully I don't mess up the numbering. That is entirely possible for me to do. Okay, mine resources over in Second Contact, Navidium. Okay, excellent. So this one should be 5 if my memory serves me correctly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. And once again, Navidium and Tikva's Choice 3. Excellent. This is what you hope for at the beginning of the game. You hope that you actually get the instructions correct on these guys. All right, this guy is mining resources, Navidium, and a Tikva's Choice. Awesome. So he'll end up being NV7. I think 5, 6, 7. Yes, there we go. And then this should be 8 if everything is working fine. Actually, wow, this guy's just getting away, or actually he has not gotten away. All right, we're going to have him proceed, and actually that should be him. Yeah, that's him right over there. Apparently he was going to wait for us to tell him to proceed, so we'll give it a minute. But everything looks perfectly fine here. Otherwise, so he's going to undock, and it looks like he's going to head off just fine, but we'll make sure. All right, let's change his name to NV8, and we can expand this in the future and mine more Navidium as we expand and find more places to sell it. I don't want to overload any one place and run out of the demand even temporarily for that, so we'll see how that goes. All right, so now it looks like he's gotten ready to go. He's headed over to Second Contact. Okay, perfect. So let's actually scroll out a little bit. Let's turn off some of these overlays. There we can see our builder is right over here at the HQ, and they're going to take care of that. We've got our silicon guys. They're here in Argon Prime right now. All right, here you see some of our other miners mining that Navidium in a place where we already have an advanced satellite, but now we need to actually send this guy over, and let's have him deploy another advanced satellite. He's got 3 remaining, so this will put him down to 2, and I'm going to have him come right back after that for the time being. So we'll have him dock here. And I'm sure he's waiting for me to tell him to proceed. And let's see, I believe that's him right over there. Make sure he's not behind us somewhere. Nope, that appears to be him. All right, so he's going to head over. He's going to open up a new sector to us. And as time goes on, of course, we know there are some other jump gates around. We'll be doing the same thing there. We'll need to resupply our ship with some more satellites, but so far, so good. Things are working out. Our fleet has begun. A couple of silicon miners and 8 Navidium miners. So our goal moving forward is the next thing we're going to do is pick up a couple of traders. And to do that, we'll come in to buy ships. Again, we want to do this pretty early, at least get 1 or 2 trading vessels out there. All right, so what we want to do is I'm going to go with the Mercury Vanguard. And we'll pick, oh, we can't pick that particular preset because it uses weapons that we don't have access to just yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do 3. Let's go ahead and make them all around. Let's see, 203 is the speed. Okay, wow. Yeah, let's go ahead and give him the travel speed boost. And I wanted to mix in a couple of Mark III numbers. Hopefully we can get the skill level a little bit higher right off the bat. We'll do all around. I'm going to give them, again, nice shield. And we're actually not going to put any defensive mechanisms here. It probably wouldn't do us much of any good anyway, because these guys aren't terribly good at defending themselves. Okay, we'll take care of the software, and once again, we will load this ship up with service crew. Okay, and of course a captain. We certainly want a captain on board. So we're looking at close to 1 million credits. This is why I don't want to start out with too many traders. We're actually going to do 2 of these. And we'll do that. That'll be 1.8 million, and our money is quickly dwindling. Let's go ahead and confirm that. And we'll jump back out, and let's see. We got one of them being built right there, and then the other one right next to us. So one right below us. And so while that's actually happening, let's look over our fleet right now. Looks like we got a couple of guys that are on their way to sail, which would be over in Atikva's Choice 1. They're coming over to the trading station. There they are. So we've got, looks like, oh wow, 4 of them. 4 of them are actually busy about to sail. And that is perfect. Up at the top, you can see that we have 1.3 million in credits that are due just from these sale orders that we have going on right now. And all right, so that is going along perfectly. We got about 45 seconds or so remaining until we have our 2 trading vessels up and going. All right, so we'll watch these guys being built a little bit closer. This is one of the reasons why I love to spend a lot of time at a wharf, because I love to see the ships being built. That means that progress is happening. It means the economy is moving along, at least in the early game. Now, we'll see how that progresses as time goes on, but for right now, the economy is giving us what we need, and we'll see how that goes moving forward. We're going to start these guys off free trading, and if the time arises, or I should say probably when the time arises, we'll swap at least one of them over to make sure that we can keep the wharf up and running. All right, these guys, I believe, are both done now. Yes, they are both done. So let's pull up our first one, and looks like we got 3 stars there. All right, that's not bad. We can do auto trade. I'm actually going to do random trade, which only requires 1 star. And let's see, maximum gate distance. We're going to open these guys up and let them go as far as they basically want to. Not going to be a station trader. Ignore restrictions. I believe we need that on. I'll have to double check that, but I believe we're going to need that on. Copy presets, legal wares, yes. Very similar to the Tater Trader mod in that respect. So anything that is legal, we want them to deal in. All right, minimum profit percentage. Let's move this back a little bit. I want them to stay busy, and I want it to be a quick process. We might put a few more stringent. Let's see. We're not going to worry too much about the station impacts there. Essentially, what you can do here is buy before a certain percentage is filled. So it basically allows you to keep a minimum amount in stations if you so desire. In this case, it would be 70 out of 90. And then the sale would only sell once the amount in storage is above a certain amount. But again, this is not going to be a huge concern for us, and I'm fine with them trading with really everybody. And this is really going to help us to improve our relations with the other factions. Looks like our Eclipse Vanguard is back. He's put out his station and he's done. All right, so everything looks good here, and so let's go ahead and confirm that. And we will make this guy, we'll call him Free Trader 1, since he's not assigned to a station or anything at this particular point. And let's do hopefully the same thing. Ooh, that is certainly not the best crew, but thankfully random trade only requires 1 star, so we're in good shape. Okay, same thing here. Maximize that, ignore restrictions. We want to copy the preset of legal wares. And same thing, we're going to actually reduce this one a little bit more. All the factions look good. Let's go ahead and confirm that. And once again, we'll use the name Free Trader. We'll tell both of these guys to proceed, and there in the background you can already see that that's what it was going to take for these guys to actually depart the area. So here we are, just a couple of videos in, and we have a nice fleet started. This is why I wanted to use that different start. I wanted to use the mod that gave us a little different start, so that we could bypass some of the grind early on in the game and go straight to the fun stuff of building a fleet and building stations. So everybody is underway. I want to actually see how these guys do. Oh wow, he's already got a trade. So he's going to take care of some medical supplies. What about Free Trader 2? And okay, so he's undocked, but he hasn't chosen a trade. So we'll give him a second. Actually, the first trader, he picked up on one very quickly. So we'll let Trader 2 get undocked, and then we'll see if he finds anything. There we go. And very quickly. So there you go. You can see the speed of the process and antimatter cells. Okay. So again, with this particular script and the way I'm setting these guys up, we are not as worried about maximizing profit as we are just keep them churning, keep them, the activity going, keep finding those trades. And then what we can do in the future, as we get more traders, we can focus more on maximizing profit with some of them, and maybe even be more selective on the wares that they deal in, maybe focus on things like the station building wares or ship building wares, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of options for us going forward, but that's going to do it for today. Thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned as we will continue our gameplay series of X4 Foundations.